papers about raising the standards, ensuring that students are doing the very best and that we have curriculum that meets them right where they're at. I was telling you a little bit about Education Sunday, the first Sunday of September, every September, and local churches from across the country celebrate and pray for education equality in our country to ensure that every child has quality education and access to quality education regardless of their zip code, income, or race. And so we want you to know we have free resources just like the one you just saw at faithineducation.com. Well, we want to go ahead and jump into our next guest, Jo Ann Rivera, who is a certified bilingual elementary teacher. And after 12 years of teaching in public school, Jo Ann decided to stay at home with her two daughters and to school them at home. And so we would love to know about that whole process of deciding to stay at home with your girls and to take what you learned in the classroom and apply it to their educational experience.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor. And I was thinking of, okay, what do I say or what am I going to do? But this is my first year as a homeschool mom. And yes, I was an educator, a teacher for 12 years. And the Lord blessed us with children. And I decided, and my husband decided, okay, I'm going to stay home, and now it's my turn to teach my babies, and that's where it all came about. So having that background in education has helped me, but I think had I not had it, I still would have. I would have pursued that.
How old are the girls?
I have two daughters. My oldest, Michelle, is 11, and then my youngest, Celeste, is 9. I have to kind of think about it because it's not like when they're little.
They keep growing.
They keep growing, yes, and by far so fast, and so.
So being a bilingual teacher in the classroom, how are you teaching them Spanish at home, and what does that look like?
Well, you know, it's so funny because they understand it, especially my oldest. So they understand it. So it's not like, you know, you can be speaking and that she would understand. But I wanted to start exposing them more as far as the reading and the writing, which is by far much easier. And so there's times where my daughter will say, well, let's just do everything in Spanish. It's so much easier. But we do our curriculum. We do have foreign language, which would be Spanish. And we do 3 times a week. And we are just going through the basic steps, and then next year we'll pursue it to the reading and the writing, and because when I just want them to be able to understand, speak, and write in their language.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, you and I were talking about testing beforehand, and kind of just the shift that's happening within the body of Christ to better understand what testing is. Can you tell us a little bit about what we were talking about beforehand?
Well, you know, the test, since this is my first year, you know, when we decided to do this, I was like, okay, what am I going to do for testing? And everybody would ask me, well, how are you going to test them? And I do assess them. And, you know, testing is still it's still necessary, you know, whether you have negative feelings about it or even a child. It's just how you present it. Because a child will get upset or feel anxious if that's how you perceive it, you know. But testing is very important because you need to know where they're at and where you're going to take them or where they're going to be at. And so I test on my own. I do the assessments, and then I also test with the curriculum that we get. You know, we have chapter test or just any type of testing, or I can even make up my own testing and assessing, asking questions. You know, did you understand this? What are we talking about? And when they respond, I'll know, okay, good, they were able to grasp it, or no, I think I need to take 2 or 3 steps back and maybe present it another way.
Yeah.
So I heard something really interesting right now, and that is mom or dad's feelings about tests can translate to a student.
Oh,
so mom and dad, if I heard you correctly, if a mom is all uptight about tests, or dad, I mean, the whole house is, oh no, you're going to have tests. If they're uptight about that, they're going to cause a student also to be uptight.
Or even just speaking negatively, like, oh, those are those silly tests, so you shouldn't even have to take it. I think your perspective is so healthy to say this is necessary to give us this information. So you said to get you where you need to be, wherever that is, or to find out where you're at today, right? So that you can close that gap if there is a gap, or even just be able to set goals. Those goals have to have some information with that test. And
because you're not gonna know, did I understand that? Did they grasp it? And then in talking or even taking the test, you know, and tests don't have to be negative. It's not a negative thing, you know. say you didn't pass the test, that's okay. And then we know what you didn't understand, and let's take a step back and just refocus and gear towards what you did not understand.
Yeah.
good.
And that's a positive thing about homeschooling. You know, when you're one-on-one, and, you know, like I know my girls, and I know the face they make when they understand it, and I know that look that said, oh, I didn't understand a word you said, you know, and I'm constantly asking, did you understand that, you know? And so I think now they feel more at ease because they were used to, if they didn't understand it, then, you know, it's too late. I can't ask in front of the classroom. Or, you know, what if everybody understood it and I didn't? You know, how's it going to make me look? So, you know, they held back, you know, or a child can hold back and not say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Right.
You know, what are the possibilities of that?
So do you have a pretty structured day, or how does, like, walk us through a normal day?
Knowing me, I have to be very structured, you know, and the teacher comes out in me. You know, I do the schedule, you know, I'll present, and then I do my lesson plans. So on Mondays, we don't have class on Monday because it's our catch-up day. So whatever we were not able to finish or accomplish during the week, we know that on Monday we're going to start and we're going to complete so that we can start the week new and
that's
fresh.
great. That's great.
Yeah. So,
It's a new spin on Mondays.
oh, very, very.
Catch up Monday. I like
Catch
that.
up
I like
Monday,
that.
yeah. It's not Friday where it's like, oh, you know, you're excited, it's the weekend, but, you know, we're going to start fresh on Monday and we're going to catch up. And then on Tuesday, I give them their assignments and they have it with them at all times. And then they just check off, oh, I did this and I did. And I don't look at it. I go, you know, you just turn it in on Friday. And then I'll pick it up and I can see, oh, you know what, you didn't get to this or you didn't get to that. And then we know, okay, Monday, this is where we're
There's always
starting.
catch up Monday.
There's
I
always
love
catch up
that.
Monday, and
Yeah.
Redeeming, you
yeah,
know.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah.
So, but yes, we're very structured. You know, we start school at 8:30, and a positive thing is that if they start at 8:30, then we get to go bicycle riding at 10:30, which is their recess. You know,
Okay.
of course, my little one calls it PE time,
Yeah.
so they take mom to PE with them, and so we go bicycle riding, and that's just an incentive to get started, and then we start back at 1 o'clock. So we're usually done by 3:30, 4 at the latest.
Okay.
You know.
And then are there specific items that you're doing on Wednesday, like every Wednesday or every Thursday, or do you give them Wednesday or Tuesday to Friday to kind of get out to knock out their assignments?
We have, you know, like in the mornings we do our basics, our grammar, our math, our reading, our spelling. We do that in the morning, and in the afternoon is what they like, is fun time, because it's history, which I have seen such a love for history.
Wow.
You
That's
know,
great.
and so I incorporate the reading, you know, the math, and so right now we started with ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
You know, so we're able to do that and incorporate. We have science, which they like, Spanish. So we have they call it the fun activities in the afternoon, which is better because we're, you know.
So if there's a parent watching, we've got about 30 seconds, but if there's a parent watching that's kind of on the fence about schooling at home and homeschooling, what advice would you give them?
Oh, pray about it. Pray about it. You know, I have such a wonderful husband that saw the potential in me before I even realized it, that I was able to do it. And so once he brought it up and once we prayed about it, the Lord, we just prayed. And once the Lord opened the doors, everything was so much easier and going forth.
How exciting. Well, thank you for being here with us. And we want you to know what's happening across the country. And we have so much for you. We have scholarship information and free resources. And so